Welcome to season 2 of the Aiming Five Hole podcast, the preseason show with Phil and Ryan. How you doing, Ryan? How'd you like the new music?
Man, I am so excited. This season 2, we are stepping up our game, Phil. I can't. The new music is great.
You got a new
As you can
mic?
tell, I got a microphone. I'm taking this stuff seriously now. We are stepping up our game. We are, it's look
We're
out,
gonna
Kelsey brothers. We are on our way
Kelsey.
up.
Who are they? Who are they?
Who? Who are they?
Don't you mean Mrs. Mrs.
Mr.
What?
Swift.
Mr. Swift?
Mr.
Yeah.
Swift.
Yes.
I got to tell you. I got to tell you. Like,
How was your summer,
I
by the way?
my summer was great. I spent the whole time. I spent the entire summer shopping comparatively for microphones because I thought my voice on this podcast last year sounded like a drowning lizard, and I just couldn't handle it anymore.
So now I'm the only drowning lizard
Yeah,
left. Now I'm going to have to invest in one of these
now you got to
things.
invest. Now you got to
Yeah.
invest. And if we're doing this with video this season, I've got the microphone in the shot. I've got headphones on. I look
Well, at least I got my
kind
cap
of
on. I got my Leafs
yeah.
cap on. I got a little hockey going on. I might
Yeah, you do
surprise
have
everybody this season with some stuff in behind me. We'll see how it goes. But the other thing that happened all summer long, how's it go? You were rehabbing your hockey injury, your knee.
That's right. My knee surgery went very well. I'm in the middle of rehabbing. I'm doing a lot of stuff straight up and down, a lot of stuff backwards and forwards, but nothing side to side yet.
There we go. We'll get there.
Yeah, I'm Kirby Doc is way ahead of me in his rehab. He's ready to go.
Well,
I'm still
one of the things we're gonna talk about today is injuries during these preseasons so far. But
yes.
we'll get to that in a few minutes. But so yeah, so the knee injury is going well. You're back. So when are you gonna get back on skates?
Back on skates is we're looking at for light skating maybe January. I can return to hockey in February,
You'll be
maybe
warming
beginning of
up for the
March.
Olympics then. You'll be
I
getting on
know.
the ice, getting back on. Maybe Team Canada might have to call you.
I'm fairly certain they won't. But at the same time, I think they've got lots of great options to choose from. Perhaps if I was a goalie, there might be a hope. But
And we'll talk about this a lot as we go moving forward, the Olympics and everything and going into the season. But I just because we mentioned it there about picking people, how about Team Canada taking Lane Hudson? Because apparently he's
because
Canadian.
he well yeah
Apparently
he's a
he's
dual
got dual
citizen.
citizenship.
He's a dual citizen. I guess his dad said something about
Yeah,
perhaps
yeah. Well, if the Americans
if the
don't want him,
Americans
maybe he
don't
goes
want him,
plays in Team Canada. We'll take him.
I would be thrilled to see him shed the blue from the
There
blue,
you
blanc, and
go.
rouge and just
Absolutely.
wear the red and white.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's great to see you. I missed you all summer.
I missed you too, buddy.
Um,
It's been a long summer without talking hockey. That's for
can
sure.
can we can you believe we're a week away from the new season?
Uh, of course, I can believe it. I've been counting it down for like the last 6 weeks.
It's crazy. And you know what? We got a new Instagram account, so you got to follow the Aiming Five Hole podcast on Instagram. We'll get that out there. We'll be sharing
That's right.
clips from the show. I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm stepping up my game in terms of the editing.
Oh,
I'm
fantastic!
going to
I'm
try
so
and
excited
figure
to
out
hear
how
that.
to do all that stuff. So great. So where do we want to start today? Obviously, because it's preseason. The preseason's underway. It's almost over, actually. Preseason games.
Yep.
We're 7 days away from official puck drop next Tuesday.
Well, here's what I think we should do. We typically, for those of you who are just tuning in for the first
Yeah.
time, Phil is a Leafs fan and I am a Canadians fan, and we usually spend the first 5-10 minutes of our show updating each other and our audience about what's going on with our respective teams and how either thrilled or angry, there's nothing in between, we feel about those developments. And so why don't we continue that
Yeah.
tradition, talk about our training camp impressions first. I think I have a bit of an advantage because when we caught up a little bit earlier, I said I'd caught a couple of the Canadians games.
Yeah. So why don't you do? Let's go right into Canadians then.
And you haven't watched anything.
I
So,
haven't watched
well,
anything yet.
so we'll start with the Habs then. They've been it's so hard to tell, man. These preseason games are like half speed. But that said, the first game that the Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky line played together, they looked unbelievable. They looked like they were in the middle of the season. They were passing, clicking. Slavkovsky looked like he was ready to put some guys through the boards on the forecheck. Really exciting to see. There were some younger players that I expected to see more out of. That was a little bit disappointing. Their
Who?
number 5 draft pick from a couple years ago, David Reinbacher, uh, looked like he can't skate. um, and he's
It's
supposed to be a
early.
very smooth skate. But well, no. Like his skating is fine. But when he's getting jumbled up in the boards, the guy plays on his knees in the scrums like half the time. It's like, dude, stay on your feet. You can't make a play on the puck if you're not on your feet.
I don't want to give the Habs too many kudos, but you got lots of young, good skating talent on there. So when you say he can't skate, next to them, make not look
Well,
like
no, no,
he
no,
is,
no,
but he
no.
is
He's
skating.
he's a very smooth skating guy. I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but the truth is that he's not strong on his skates in the corners, and that's going to be something he's going to have to figure out. And then he went ahead and broke a finger, and he's out for 4 weeks. So he wasn't not starting with the team anyway. We'll get to injuries in a bit.
Yeah.
That's been a big topic.
But
This
I have been watching a lot of highlights and a lot of video and watching different things. Did you see that move Demnadov pulled off?
Yes,
He
the
broke a
one.
few ankles.
Yes, he's done it a few times. Are you talking about the one where he did 2 360s and then he banked the puck off the back of the net
Yeah.
and passed it? Yeah, that was. This guy's going to be fun to watch in a Canadians
Now,
uniform
do you
for a
think he's going to try
long, long
that in
time.
a regular season game, though? He might
Well,
get
I
hit
think
a
he,
little.
he
He might
I think he might
get
I think he might try it once, and
yeah,
then
until he gets slammed into the boards.
when the and he might be successful at it,
He
but the
might
next
be.
time down the ice when he gets pasted into the boards, he might not try that again so much.
Yeah.
Although he did take a bit of a nasty hit in his first game, and Josh Anderson stepped in and crushed the guy who hit him. So the Canadians are coming together as a team. The gelling as a group because you can already see in the preseason they're defending each other, they're standing up for each other. It's nice to see. The other guy that I haven't seen much from, even though he wasn't a really high draft pick, but Joshua Roy just doesn't look like he's got. And they sent him down as the first wave of cuts. They thought maybe he could compete for a roster spot. I don't know. He just doesn't seem to have it right now, but he might. He might. Zach Bolduc, who they traded Logan Mayu for, has seemed okay. He looks pretty good defensively. I want to see a little bit more out of his offensive game to make before I make any calls on that. The thing that worries me is the second line a little bit. If it's going to be Doc, Line and Demidov,
Doc's not starting the regular season, is
yeah,
he?
they're looking to start the regular season with him.
He's going to be
They
healthy? I
they're
thought he wasn't.
managing his minutes in the preseason so that hopefully he'll be ready for the start of the season.
Oh,
No guarantees on that.
over under on how many games he plays this season.
Damn, man, that's a tough one in our preview episode. You're putting me on the spot already. You know what? I'm
Hey,
going
look,
to
I
think
hope he stays
positively.
healthy because it'd be
I'm going to think positively. I'm going to say he plays 72 games. He's going to miss 10 games with
that's
bumps and
not
bruises
bad.
and things like
That's
that.
not
But I don't
bad.
think he's going to have a serious injury.
So no
Like,
load management, no Kawhi Leonard stuff going on here, load
yeah,
management.
yeah, yeah. My fingers are crossed, even though he's blown out the same knee 2 times in a row.
Knock
But
on wood. Hope he stays
let's
healthy.
say he plays all those games. With him, Demidov, and Line, they could score, 90, 100 goals as a line. I mean, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but maybe not.
Yeah.
But they might
With
give up 150.
if
They, I,
if that line scores that many goals, how many is line A actually? How many strides has line A taken in order to score those goals?
uh, oh, not that many. One stride per goal. Although, look, he's looked better
Yeah.
in the games that I've seen. The problem is, and I'm taking too much away from one game. I'm not an idiot. I know you need a bigger sample size, but that game the first game they played against Toronto when they lost 7-2 against basically all AHLers. That I think they were all -3, -4 something in that game. They were terrible.
Yeah. It's
Absolutely terrible.
preseason. Who
It's
cares?
preseason, but
So
like
more importantly, who's starting in net?
Montembeau.
Martin Bowe?
Montembeau.
Montembeau.
Samuel
I'm starting right
Montembeau.
off where I left off on
I know, especially
pronunciation.
if he ends up making the Olympic roster, you
He
better
ain't
learn how to
making the
pronounce
Olympic
his
roster.
name.
That might have been before. I know we're on the Habs right now, but that might have been the funniest storyline coming out of the summer. Stuart Skinner saying, "My goal this year is to play on Team Canada Olympic team." I almost hit the floor. Like, come on, dude. Like,
You
let's
got you
be
get you got
realistic. You actually
you've
have to
got
be on somebody's radar to be actually be picked for that
more importantly, maybe you should focus on the thing you failed to do 2 years in a row in June. Don't,
team.
don't worry so much about February. You should focus on June.
Did anybody watch him play goaltender last year? Holy
Oh
cow.
God. Um, and then I think the defense looks pretty good. Dobson looks good in
Yeah.
the Canadiens uniform. He looked really strong in his first game. I think the Canadiens, you know, the trick for them is going to be
Don't get into
to
predictions. We're gonna do that next weekend. Don't
no,
get
it's
into
not a
predictions.
prediction. It's
Don't get
just
into
like what
predictions.
I'm seeing out of the training camp, and obviously, I'm echoing what a lot of the reporters have been saying is, they had a terrible start to the year last year. How do you model your effort and your deployment in preseason games and practices and all of that? How do you take a look at the young guys, but you've got to motivate your veterans to come in? Your veterans, none of them are
Right.
over 25, but how do you motivate your veterans to come in and get ready? Really,
Right.
you got to be ready to hit the ice on October 7th or 8th, is it? I don't know. At full speed, you
Right.
got to do it full speed from day one. The Thanksgiving rule is in play. We'll talk about that
We'll talk.
again
That's
next week.
talk next weekend. How
We'll
about
talk about that next week again.
that? Great. So you're
Uh,
you're 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 optimistic. Is easy to say. Your bubble can't be broken right now.
well, don't
You're
forget
feeling
last
good.
year. Don't forget last year. At this point in the preseason, they'd already lost Line and Reinbacher for
Yes.
months
Yes. And you
to
had
injuries.
and your initial your projection,
Prognostication.
prognostication, thank you. See, I'm starting really early this year, was 500. They were above 500 and they made the playoffs, which was a great surprise.
Yep.
So not asking for a prediction, but we'll get there next weekend. But you're starting from a high point already because you made the playoffs last year. So I look forward to what your prediction for the Habs are this coming season. So I look forward
Okay.
to that. I can't wait.
Terrific. So tell me about the summer Leafs. Tell me about the green Leafs. The
Hallelujah.
Leafs haven't turned yet.
Hallelujah. The Leafs haven't turned yet, but we've the core four is gone. The
You never have to hear
core
the word
four
core
never
four
have to
again.
hear the word core four again. Thank God. I think actually the Chief said that already in a press conference. The thing I'm looking forward to most this year is not hearing from the reporters saying, how's the core four doing? What's going on with the core four? Marner's in the West Coast. We won't have to see him till January. Thank God. Get out of here. Go ahead. I do wish that a few guys had followed him out of town. Last year I started the season saying my for sale sign was on Mitch Marner. My for sale sign has not left Morgan Riley, and I still believe at some point during this year that Morgan Riley will not be with this team because I think he's the trade chip to get somebody that they're going to need down the middle. I think the Leafs.
So he's not your Norris pick.
He's not my Norris pick. He might be my Snorris pick, but he's not my Norris pick. No. You know what? I think the Leafs did a really good job. They could have lost Marner for nothing, but getting Waugh in return was a great pickup. I think he's going to fit in really nice with the team. So far, we're all that we're hearing out of training camp is he's fitting in really well and meshing with the guys, so that's great. Maselli is, they're playing around with him first line, second line, third line. I think they're gonna have to find their mix, and where I think the Leafs for the big question going into the season is all kidding aside about Mitch Marner. He was a great regular season player. He did score 107 points last year. Where are those points going to come from? And you can't replace him with one guy. It's going to have to come from a multitude of different areas. Last year Matthews only had 33 goals. It's a down year. You got to think he's good for 50 at least, right? So there's 17 goals alone. You think he's going to have a better year. Maselli is going to good for 15 to 20. So there's another pickup. I don't know if they're talking about Domi on the first line. I'm not sure he's a really great mix with Nyes and Matthews, but you think he's going to have a tick up here. He's got to have a better year no matter where he's playing. Um, Tavares is good for 38. I think Nyes takes another jump. Last year he had 29. Is he good for 35 this year? 30 to 35? I think and I think that's where
Mm-hmm.
the team is at right now. I think you're going to have to see that 107 points coming from all different areas. It's gonna have to, and the big point is it's got to come from the point. Like last year, by the end of the first half of the season, the Leafs D was the lowest scoring D in the league, and that can't happen this year. You've got to have more production out of the back end, no matter who's back there. We
Well,
need
but where are you getting that from?
I think Riley's gonna have a better year. I think that
Before he gets traded.
yeah, before he gets traded, OEL's got to play a bigger role on the offensive side. I still think we've talked about this before. I hate the four forward power play. I think you go back to a 5-3-2, especially without Marner there.
Look at you with the X and O's during the
Yeah, it's
preseason
preseason.
episode.
So, I like to see OEL get more involved in the power play. I think you,
OEL played his best season last year in about
yes.
5 years. You think he's going to do even better than that? You're
Yeah, because
crazy.
I think he'll have more points because I don't think he had a
Mm,
great defensive year and he had a great physical year, but I don't think he had a great production from a points perspective. So I think he takes a little bit of a jump up there. Having Brandon Carlo there, he's not going to be your point getter, but he's going to free up everybody else, right? Allow him to play. He's going to hopefully allow Riley to play a little bit more offensive and not have to worry about the defensive zone.
no, the
So.
thing he's going to let happen is he's going to let Stolars and Woll see the puck.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so it's going to come from a multitude of different areas. I still think the team that starts the season in October in a week and a bit will not be the team that finishes the season. I think there's one, maybe two moves that have to happen in order for
You're
them to
you're
make that.
probably right. You're probably right. But one of the things we should be talking about, and it wasn't on our list earlier, was the prediction that the new playoff salary cap rules could put
Yes.
a chill on the trade deadline.
Yes, and
Because
we can talk a
yeah,
little bit about that as we go along in the season. I think each trade is going to happen and we're going to see how that does affect the team overall. But keep in mind too, it's the players on the ice that
right, right,
the
right,
test
right,
salary cap. It's not the playoff roster, it's the players on the ice.
right,
So it is a bit of a different um, mathematical equation how you get to that number. So it
right.
does change it a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how that plays comes into play for sure. So yeah, and I think we just talked about it. The other big thing is, look, we just locked up Stolharts for another 4 years at 3.75.
That's a crazy good number
How
for a
good is
guy
that a deal? I didn't think we were going to get him for anything less than 5 to 5 and 6, somewhere in that
for
range.
a goalie of his caliber. That number is crazy. The only reason why worry for I don't worry for you. You're fine. But the only reason I would worry, perhaps, is is that number low because there are concerns about his durability?
Potentially, but it's also durability. He hasn't proven he's gone through a full season, so maybe they caught him at a bit of a at a disadvantage from a negotiation perspective. But in 4 years, I'm going to say this contract's going to look really, really good because
It could look
he's going to be the
fantastic.
number one goaltender. He's going to start to play more. I think this year he's going to have to play more coming out of the gates because unfortunately, Wall is taking personal leave. We don't know what happened,
Right.
family issues. Is it him? Is it a family thing? Usually when this thing happens, we're going to hear something else that there's something issue with him. Hopefully it's something that's easily solved, but it could be, who knows? I don't want to speculate on what we don't know, but
Yeah.
all the best to Will and family and everybody. Hopefully he comes back and he's in good place. But he's going to have to be because they're not going to be able to rely on Hill to be the number two. And I can't believe they went and signed Reimer to a PTO. Like,
I was
come
gonna
on.
I was
I
gonna
hate the
email you.
retreads. The
I was
retreads
gonna
have
email
got
you,
to
but I
stop.
didn't have the heart.
Did you not see I texted out from the Instagram account going, why?
You
Why?
have
Did we
it.
not have another answer somewhere in the organization that could be an answer to this than James Reimer? Do we not remember what happened in Boston how many years ago? Like, come on, people. Should give your head a shake. But no,
Well, so I was going to text you, and then I decided not to because I wanted
I
to
was
save
looking
it.
for the
I
nearest
wanted to
ledge to
save it.
jump off of.
I wanted to save it for the podcast and get your reaction in real time. But
Oh man.
I was going to text you. Oh, was Terry Sawchuk not available?
You're gonna go. Oh God. Oh, yeah, let's not go. The only thing worse is that Robertson is still in this lineup. Like, And you talk about where points got to come from. If he's going to stay in the lineup, he's got to produce more than he's doing. The other place it's going to come from, and from all accounts, what we're hearing from Leafland is that Easton Cowan's looking really good and maturing. Because one of the problems and one of the reasons he got sent down last year apparently was all in the head. He was not there maturity wise. He was not the best in the room and whatnot. And what we're hearing is that seems to be changed 100%. He had a
That's
great
great. Well,
year
he
down
has
in
to be great.
junior, and he has to come in and produce. And he might not just be a third or fourth line player. He could be the answer on that first line.
Well, the whole farm system is
Yeah.
bereft, right? So he's got a
Right.
performer. They got
Yes.
nothing
Yeah.
because Fraser Minton is now wearing a
Yes.
Boston Bruin
But
uniform.
keep in mind, Fraser Mitten, I loved him. He was great. He was never going to be the goal scorer. If anybody out of
Right.
this crop was going to be the goal scorer, it was going to be
It was
Easton
going to be
Cowan.
Cowan. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
he's got to come in and produce. So, you know what? I am looking forward to seeing how this team comes together. I'm looking forward to seeing how Chief gets them, Berube gets them playing different style of hockey and continues that march of what we saw last year in
Yep.
playing physical, playing, straight lines and playing getting to the net and whatnot. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Waugh, Joshua, and Maselli fit into that plan and change this thing and seeing how guys like um, um, Cowan and others and how Carlo a full season on the back end, healthy Stolarts for the whole season, how this can just hopefully create some momentum. And there's going to be some changes. I don't think at the end of the season that Riley will be on this team, and I don't think at the end of the season Robertson will be on this team. I think those are the two people at some point. Please, if I say it enough, hopefully it will
Pick.
happen.
Yeah, because
But
they're
I
gonna
think,
eventually they're gonna retire,
right.
so they won't be
But
Leafs forever.
there's some talk out of Calgary that there's interest in Riley because he's a West Coast boy. He's from Vancouver, so it's not quite
Right.
all the way there. But they're interested in him because if Calgary does end up moving Anderson, Riley could be the answer for them. And we've said this before that, one of the answers the Leafs need in terms of centerman, the only thing really left out there is Kadri. Again, I said I don't want any retreads, but that might be one tread I can live with.
That's one shred you can
That's one tread I can read. But we'll see. So that's enough of the Leafs. I think
The Leafs. All right, let's go on to the rest of the league. There are 67 things we can talk about that have happened recently. I think the big thing to talk about is injuries in the preseason.
uh,
I mean,
go
it
no
comes up
further
it
than
comes up in
Florida.
every sport, but yeah, it starts that conversation starts with Alexander Barkov and God,
Wow.
what a class guy and what a class player, a phenomenal player. You can't replace a guy like that. And I hate to say I feel bad for the Panthers. And you know what? I don't feel
I
bad for the
don't feel
Panthers.
bad for the
I feel
Panthers.
bad for for Sasha Barkov.
I feel sorry for Team Finland because
Well, yeah,
they
because now they
might
might as well
they might as well not even play in the Olympics.
yeah, they're gonna show up they're gonna show up to the Olympics and lose their like first round game
Yeah.
to like Eastern Mongolia,
They might end up
and
in the relegation round.
and they might have to play their way in 4 years.
Yeah, because they didn't look good at the Four Nations, and without Barkov, it ain't happening.
No,
So
no,
now they can expand the roster beyond NHL players. That will help them, but still, you
will
just
it?
lost your captain and your best player, and he ain't happening.
Yeah,
So,
they look terrible. Yeah, oh, they're awful.
but the
But
Panthers, like this is the question mark too, is that as
who's
good
your
as
number
he
one
is,
center?
your number
It's
one
not.
center, he apparently will be healthy for the playoffs if all goes well with rehab and everything. They say 9 months.
I'm rehabbing my knee now. There's
Yeah.
no way he's going to be ready for the
Well, he's
playoffs.
let's no disrespect to you there, my friend,
Yeah,
but
yeah. My
you are not a
45 minutes
professional
a day, my
athlete.
45 minutes a day isn't going to compare to
Your five
Lord knows what
steps to the
treatments he's
fridge to
getting.
get your cookie, I don't isn't the same thing that he's doing.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But there's no way he'll be ready for the playoffs.
I
Maybe
don't know. They're saying that he could be ready for the playoffs. And the other one there in Florida that's injured is, and again, here, you want something that I'm really not feeling sorry for is Kachuk.
Matthew Kachuk, Kachuk. Is
Is
that what we're calling him
K
this
I'm
season?
calling him
Kachuk.
Kachuk, as I can't, I can't.
Why
And
don't we
he's
call
out
him
till
Upchuck?
Christmas. Upchuck. Because which one? I throw up both as much as both of them when I hear their names. But he's out till probably Christmas. They're saying December at some point. So that team. thank God they were able to re-sign everybody they did, but now they're thin up front.
Well, I mean, look, you want your strength to be down the middle,
Yeah.
right? And now your number one center is either Bennett or Lundell, and your number two center is the other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's going to
Absolutely.
score? Who's going to score all their goals? I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Sam Reinhart's a fantastic
Oh,
player, but he's not going to carry a team.
absolutely.
Sam Bennett doesn't show up until April anyway.
Right. So yeah, that team, let's not get to predictions, but
That's a
that's
serious injury.
that's a serious injury, and those things changed how I looked at my predictions for this year and how the playoff mix is going to sort of fix itself out.
Okay,
Now, keep in mind, they still have world-class goaltending. They got a big-ass defensive crew. It's still going to be great on the back end. You're going to hard to score on them, but you're right. They're going to have trouble scoring goals.
they're going to have trouble scoring goals now. It, this isn't really spot on to the point I wanted to make because he got hurt in practice, which can happen to anybody. But it raises the specter of like, all right, what happens in the preseason? How do you get ready for the season without risking injury? Because we talked earlier about the disaster that the Canadians went through last year
Right.
in the preseason, losing two guys. Florida just lost their keystone. Um, are
JT
you
Miller injured in practice today,
JT
apparently.
Miller injured in
Ryan's
practice?
Dylan Sandberg in Winnipeg. We can go down the list. Like it's becoming a pandemic, an epidemic.
Yeah,
But you're right. Like, but I think these things happen. Like these guys, you have to train, you have to go through these things. No one ever foresees these things happening in practice. And I've seen the footage of the Barkov one. It was just a weird sort of. He looked like he got crossed up with his feet, and his knee went sliding out underneath him, and he got caught underneath him. It didn't look pretty, but it was just that could happen. That's just a freak accident. There's nothing you can do about that. To what you're talking about in terms of preseason is games. And that's why the preseason games are less, you see they're basically in AHL teams out there. You mixed in with a few veterans because you still have quotas of how many guys have to play.
but it's well,
Um,
you also want to get them
yeah, you want to get some
some
real
reps.
gun.
You got
Yeah,
to get some
yeah,
reps
yeah,
in there,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And I think again, we're not going to talk about the Thanksgiving rule, but you've got to start the season strong. You've got to be firing on all cylinders. You talk about well, it's an 82 game season. And you look at the football players, they don't play at all really in their preseason. They come in and it's a 16 game season. Each game, you know, is that much more important.
Right,
But I think the big difference is in football, you play once a week.
right,
And you could start 0 and 2 and still make the playoffs pretty easily. Or you
right,
could start 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and still make the playoffs if you're a good team and you're turning things
right, right,
around
right,
and finding yourself. And by the way, those 4 games take a month.
right.
In the NHL, your first 4 games are in the first 10 days of the season.
Yeah.
And if you go 0 and 4, you're already behind the eight ball.
Well, you said it right. You've got to come out of the gates. How many times can teams roll the dice on slow starts and then find themselves in the playoffs, let alone making a deep run the way the Oilers did the last 2 years? Can they afford to do that for a third season in a row and be revving their engines? They can't. I don't think they can. You're shaking
Certainly
your head. I don't
not.
think they
Certainly
can.
not with.
The
Certainly
the
not with
Blues,
Connor
yeah,
McDavid
absolutely.
unsigned.
The Blues did it. Your Canadians did it last year. They came out of the gates. Like, how many times can you roll that dice? We've talked about this last year. You need to start the season good and get that roll going so that you can find your mix through the season of how to play and managing your players and time and everything so that you're not too over exhausted by the time you get to the playoffs.
Yep.
And I don't want to talk about playoffs at this point, but you're right. The start of the season and preseason, it starts in the preseason. Like, how do you get the guys ready for the season so you don't have that slow start, but also protect them so you're not getting these injuries that we're seeing. And look at the Barkov one was a freak injury. We don't know what happened to T.J. Miller, Dylan Sandberg in Winnipeg. That's probably another freak accident happening in practice or whatnot. So these
Yep.
things happen, and that's this comes to managing payroll as well, right? And these new rules around salary cap and everything, and salary cap rising is a good thing, but you need to manage your time and your place. And that's
Yep.
one of the good things is the Leafs, seemingly depending on how they go into next season, could have a lot of cap room going into next season for this. And we'll get to it somewhere down in the season, later in the season. This potential unrestricted free agent crop next year is littered with stars. No
Absolutely. Yeah,
bigger,
they
no
could have a new core
bigger.
four next year, and you get sick of hearing
Yeah.
about that too. But
No bigger than Connor McDavid. You said
yeah,
it. Connor
that's a,
McDavid,
that's our last topic for tonight is contracts, and we've
right,
got two of the biggest contract
two
stories that
whoppers.
we've seen in a while. So number one is McDavid unsigned to the point where the Canadian Prime Minister
Well,
mentioned it as part of the Canadian crisis facing the country at the moment. Now I know his tongue was placed firmly in cheek for that comment, but uh, it is a serious issue for the Oilers because it's obviously not about money. This
no,
is about the direction of the franchise, and this is a team that he feels he can win with long term.
right.
And I'm sure the Oilers would love to have him signed for 8 years before the bargaining agreement changes. But I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people are talking about. God, I sound like Donald Trump when I say that. A lot of people talk about him signing a short term deal and just seeing where things go in 2 or 3 years. And by the way, the cap will be up by then, so his number going past that will be even higher. If there's one guy in this league who should bet on
Right.
himself,
But
it's
that's also
probably him.
a good point is that there's two things with the Oilers. We said about this fast start. Distractions are another issue, and this will be a distraction. I don't care how much anybody says, "Oh, it won't be a distraction." This will be a distraction all season long because the reporters are going to ask him about it every single time they get a chance, and it's beginning to become irritating. You can see interviews with him and Draisaitl already. Both of them are getting irritated by the questions.
I know. If I were him, I'd sign for 2 years.
Absolutely.
What's the
And
worst
look
thing
at
that can
I think
happen?
but also you got to think about and this is the piece that, players they want their money, they get that all this time. Does he sign a team friendly whether it's a short-term deal? Because this you're right. If I'm him, I sign a 3 or 4 year deal, maybe 2 or 3 years at a team friendly number so that they can go out and sign some other players, go get some goaltending, go fix the back end and help get some help around them and him and Drysdale, I shouldn't say around him and Drysdale, get some help around them so that they can take the next step and win. They're not going to win with those two bozos in the net. I don't care what anybody
No,
says. These two, if they're the two in the net come the playoffs,
they're toast.
they're toast. There's just no way. I'm sorry. I don't want to call anybody like he's lost a lot of weight. Skinner's lost a lot of weight. He looks great. He's attitude and all that stuff. I don't care what your attitude is. If you can't stop the puck, you in this league, I don't care. And
Fair enough.
but I think if I to your point, if I'm Connor McDavid, I'm signing a short-term, team-friendly deal and saying go take the extra money and go sign some players and go get me a goaltender,
Right.
right? And the other thing the Oilers are going to be without starting the season is they're out without Hyman to start the season. He's not coming back till sometime in November, so they're going to lose him for a month. And to your point, that's significant in hockey terms. That's a good 15 games.
Well, he's their grit, right? He's
Right.
their gritty scoring.
So and you saw it in the playoffs. They couldn't score goals. You lose those, guys that can put the puck in the net. That you got to fill that void somehow, and it can't put it all on Draisaitl and McDavid's shoulders this year. It just can't.
No, I think they're looking for their rookies to make a real contribution, and that's always a dice roll, right?
Right.
And that I wouldn't be surprised if McDavid went into the season without a contract.
And you can't blame them.
Um, well, you can't blame him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did because he wants to see how these young guys play.
Right. Yeah.
Can they do it? Can they do it? Now the other one is a
You want
young
me to
winger,
say
a young winger out of Minnesota.
Kirill Kaprizov?
Very
There you go. I
nice.
got that one.
I'm
We were
impressed,
practicing that
Phil.
one.
I know.
Kaprizov. Now, turning
And I
down 8 years, $16 million. That just tells me one thing. He wants out.
but he says he doesn't want out.
That's come on. What do you want him to say? I want out. There's just no. The team just offered him 8 at 16. If it's money, he just turned down the biggest contract he was going to get. No one's paying him more than 16. He wants out. And this one will be a distraction. And this will play into my. I don't want
Oh,
to tell you
this
what
is
my
oh wow,
predictions
you're
are.
previewing. You're
I'm
giving away
previewing,
all the
but
you're giving all the secrets.
this one to me, I don't think I don't think McDavid's going anywhere. McDavid at some point during the season is going to sign some kind of a contract to go beyond this season. How long and for how much, who knows? I don't think Kaprizov is. I think Kaprizov is looking to be traded. And he's going to play this season out to a certain point, and then eventually it's going to come out that he wants out and he wants to go play for a winner.
Yeah.
Because, I just the only thing when you turn down 8 times 16 from a team that has just opened their bank for you, and by the way, is a good team. And he drives that bus there. There's no question. When he was out last year for long
They're a
term, they're a
different team
different
without
team.
him in the lineup.
So they're giving him the keys to the city, and he says no. Tells me he wants out of the city.
Yeah.
That's that's my own opinion, but I think he wants out.
And you're sticking to it.
I'm sticking to it till
Okay.
he signs.
Oh gosh.
But
Well,
what the team going to offer him now? 20? They're
yeah.
going to offer him
Yeah.
17. They've given him as much as they're going to give him, right? So there's no negotiation now. He's turned down the best offer he was going to get.
Right.
So what happens? I think the team has to, I think Guerin goes, okay, I got to find the best place for you.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to find a way to trade him out of the Central.
Right.
Maybe they can trade him
And it's gonna
to
be
San Jose for
and
one of
it's
their
gonna
young
have to be for a
players.
sign and trade. It's gonna be a sign and
Oh, for
trade because
sure,
that
for
gets gonna get
sure.
them the best return, right?
Right.
Sign them
Do
for
you think
eight
the Oilers?
sixteen and then trade them.
Do you think the Oilers bring back Peter Pocklington just to trade McDavid to the Kings?
Oh man, can you imagine if he went to the Kings?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't complain.
Oh, you wouldn't
It'd be
complain.
it would be hard for me to get tickets, harder for me to get tickets than it currently is. But I'd love to have him in LA.
Yeah, I
I
just can't
think
see it.
I
Yeah,
think Edmonton would lose its collective mind.
yeah, I agree with you. It's crazy. But who knows what's going to happen? I know we're getting to our end here. The
Yeah,
other thing is that we've got some potential. We got two retirements this season. We got to talk about uh, Fleury. You know, great goaltender by all accounts. I've never met him. Great person, great teammate. Love to see him go back to Pittsburgh. And for the one-time league, everybody sort of signs contracts on a one-day contract so they can sign with their
but
original
they very
team.
rarely get to take the field or the ice
And he got to do it in a preseason game
and to
and
soak it in. That's
played
nice.
well apparently. So he probably could still play and play another season, but it was great to see him go out as a pen and get to actually put the pads on and have some fun again, which was great.
Yeah.
Kopitar has announced.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I get to a few extra games this year because
Now,
he's been a pleasure to
will
watch over
he
the
be able
years.
to will you think this is going to help his game this year and help the Kings, or is this going to hurt the Kings throughout the year? Because now it's a farewell tour.
It won't affect them at all.
No.
First of all, they're gonna have trouble stopping the puck to begin with. Darcy Kemper is gonna get shelled because their defense is old and slow.
We said that last year and look what they did.
Yeah, but they didn't have Cody Cece. Um,
But we don't have to worry about Cordy Perry anymore because he's
no,
out for
Corey Perry's out for a while. That was another
a
brilliant signing. Um, so I don't think it's gonna affect their performance at all. They're going to fight to make the playoffs. Kopitar is a very low key guy. He's not the guy to go around the league and get gifts from all the teams, even though he's a clear Hall of Famer from my perspective. I think the bigger question is, does Ovi decide to retire, and does he make that announcement during the season, or does he do it quietly at the end of the season? I don't see Ovi as the guy who wants to go out quietly. I think he wants to get all the cheers and gifts from all the teams in all the arenas. So if he
think he's
does
having
decide
too
to
much
make this,
fun. I don't think
he
he's made
is.
the decision. And I think, and I don't, again, don't want to get ahead of my predictions for this year. I think it all depends on how they play this season. Can they duplicate their run from last year? Now, I say run, not because they only made it
They're not a
one race.
111 point team
They're
again,
not
but
a 111 point
they're
team,
gonna
and
be in the playoffs.
He ain't scoring as many goals. How many did he have this year? He had
I think he had
44 goals,
44.
which was incredible. I don't think he's doing that again this year. I think if he gets to 30, 35, I think that's a great season for him. I think that's
Let's take a
capable.
second to appreciate that one more
No,
time.
absolutely.
44 goals from how old is he? 41?
Yeah.
41-year-old player who missed 6 weeks with a broken ass leg.
Yeah. I think
Like
he wants to get to 1,000.
goals?
Yeah. Or
Good
900.
luck.
Sorry, not 900. I mean,
Yeah.
900. Apologize.
Yeah.
He only needs like 20 to get, not even
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to get to, I think he wants to get to 900. But I think for him, it'll all come down to this season and this first half of the season and how they look and do they actually have because I don't think they did a lot in the offseason to change this team or to get better or to get younger or to do much. So I don't have a
Yeah.
lot of high hopes for them. And last year they were spurned on because of his run and how well he was doing on that run. So that just elevated the team and their energy level. And they got great goaltending from somebody we didn't think would be able to deliver them great goaltending. So if he can stand on his head again, if Ovi can do something special, if whatever they brought in does something, we'll see. But I think he will make a determination before Christmas. To your point, if he's gonna go, he'll say something and he'll do his farewell tour in the back half of the season.
All right. Okay.
So that's
Well,
the
we'll
season.
see.
That's
That's
great.
that's the preseason
That's a little bit
episode
of a
right
warm
there.
up.
Warm up.
We're gonna do this again next weekend. We're gonna push you out with a little bit of our music. If you want to hear the whole song, because you only heard a bit of a clip of it at the beginning, I'm gonna play the whole thing out the back end.
Oh wow. Okay. How about that? Well, neither of us got injured during our preseason. Congratulations. I feel really good about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we went a little bit long for those of us who haven't listened to us before. We don't go this long all the time. I can
We'll get back
guarantee
to
you
our
we
30
will.
minutes. We'll get
Yeah,
back
we
to
will.
our 30 minutes.
Well, we will go this long next week, I'm sure, because season preview episode, a lot to cover, a lot to say, a lot to predict,
Yes.
which we are both excited about. But then after that, we'll probably get back to our typical 30-minute episode. No hard limit, but we try to come in land the plane around the 30-minute mark.
Absolutely.
Exciting season ahead. Can't wait to do it with you, Phil.
Yeah, and it was exciting to see you and love to being back at it. And I'm going to go get myself a mic. Have a great weekend. I will see you next weekend.
All right, buddy.
5 Hole Podcast. Enjoy the music. See you later, man. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Yoga roars a fiery tune, a battle waged in silver and blue. This is hockey, the heart of the